Welcome to the Digital Thought Leader Podcast. We help coaches, professional speakers, authors, and thought leaders elevate their online presence so that they can attract their ideal client. We give you the resources, tips, motivations, and success stories to help you step out of your comfort zone and share your God-given talents with the world. I'm your host, Kimberly Inez Mays. Now let's get it started. Hi there. Welcome back to the Digital Thought Leader Podcast. I'm super excited for today's episode. Today, I am interviewing Tanya J. Miller. She is a coach, she is an author, and she's a speaker and a strategist with a passion for helping people and organizations to figure out how to do life and leadership unapologetically and on purpose. So welcome, Tanya.
Hello. Excited to be here. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. I know that right now, as of this recording, it is the 1st of June. So the half of the year is like almost gone. And it's just crazy how fast time has flown.
Yeah. Something to think about what we're going to do for these next 7 months for sure.
Yeah, especially in our businesses too, because of the whole pandemic situation, which I will definitely ask you, how you're running your business during COVID-19. But just for the listeners, I would just like just to get a little bit of information about what you do and what type of clients you serve.
Yeah, so as Kimberly mentioned, I'm author, speaker, coach, strategist, and basically I help people and organizations figure out how to fit the puzzle pieces of life together. So when I do that, a lot of times if I'm working with the individual as a coach, it may be honestly a major thing they come to me up with a lot of times is what's my purpose and where is it and how can I find it? And so I break that down for them just to even let them know your purpose isn't nothing you go looking for externally. Your purpose is already in the inside of you. And if anything, we need to pull it out, uncover it, dig to get to it, but it's already inside of you. And so we do that work around that if that's kind of what they need. Sometimes they already know their purpose, but they're trying to figure out how to produce it, meaning how to execute a vision based upon it. And so we may work together on that as well and kind of formulate a strategy and put some things in place. And, even if it means like going over their day to figure out what can they do or cut or, reduce time. So look a lot even at time management to be able to pull off the next thing. With organizations and businesses, a lot of times it's two ways I help them. One, I help with mainly the senior the executive leadership, where maybe the CEO, founder, president, whichever owner, whatever you want to call them, they have a vision, but they may have a new vision or they've had an old one, but it's not translating and sinking into the minds and hearts and spirits of the senior leadership. And so because it's not sinking into the senior leadership, it's not going down hill to each and every person and going to all the levels below that. And so nobody is able to, fulfill the mission and vision of the CEO. And so a lot of times I may do some like leadership development to kind of just, translate what the CEO was trying to say and put it in practical terms and ways for the senior leadership to help plan, strategize, and execute it. Or I may just have a basic just training over the entire organization and do training around organizational development and kind of what it means to buy in or to support or to follow the mission and vision. And sometimes it's even just asking them, do you know what it is? So I do both, and those both deal with purposes just from a personal level versus a business nonprofit organization level. But, when you can't figure it out or how to fit it together, you'll just stay stuck. And so my goal is to make sure that they stay unstuck and on purpose.
Yeah, and it's like two different client types, but the need is still the same, and it's
Correct.
not very easy to kind of go inside and think, okay, well, what am I trying to say, for an organization and even for a person too. So, before you had just said that, your purpose is usually not outside, it's inside. So how do you walk somebody through that if they are just really stuck there?
Yeah, so a lot of times, if you're stuck and trying to figure out what your purpose is, I can walk with you a couple of ways. One, I kind of start with you with passion because passion is what ignites you, and that's where the purpose is derived from. And so I'll ask you, do has there been, a passion that you have for certain things? Have you always, been drawn to, this or that, have you always supported, kind of what is the thing that, or the things, what are the things you like? What are the things you're passionate about, you like to do? And from there, I kind of at least got a fire working, a fire stoked. And so, but if you still can't hone it in from there, because it may be, I like a lot of things, I'm passionate about a lot of things, I'll ask you, okay, what about your friends? Not, let me caveat this. Not the friends that are just going to agree with you, but the actual people. That's what I said. Caveat. People that actually are going to give you real advice, sound advice, and they're going to be and do much so in a way that it's going to be very unbiased. Those people, they're going to just tell you what they see, what they hear, what they know, and that's it. And so, get with some of those people and ask them, hey, over the years you've been around me, has there anything that you seen that I'm always drawn to, that I'm always working on supporting? Do you pick up anything from me as far as what I could be passionate about? And that's a way. And then another way that I work with them is if nothing is there, you haven't figured it out, you're still like, hey, I still don't know. Then we'll do a couple of tests, depends on which you're most comfortable with. So we may do a DISC assessment, job aptitude, Enneagram. We maybe do a spiritual testing. I mean, it's a lot of testings out there and assessments that you can do. But from there, we'll kind of get overall who you are, and then we can play it against some of the things that you have said that you're interested in or that you like to do, and see what is kind of that overarching thing. Because that's what I look at as purpose. Purpose is not necessarily one thing. Purpose is what is produced and what produces the vision, but it's not one thing. I liken it to a tree, meaning the roots of the tree are your passion. Your purpose is the tree trunk. So you're always grounded and always stable, because that's what funds or flows everything else from upwards. And so the tree trunk is the purpose, and then the limbs and things are the vision. So there's one purpose. I mean, there's one tree trunk, but there are always plenty of limbs and different things like that. So the limbs are how you're executing your purpose, or how your purpose is producing itself. And then the leaves, that's where you begin to see everything fill in and flow together. And when you see that big picture, that's your destiny. And so I liken it to that, because that gives people a visual of it. Because a lot of times they don't assume that their purpose is just one thing, like, oh, I'm just supposed to be a mom. Oh, I'm just supposed to be this. And I'm like, that's a part of who you are, but that's not just your purpose. Like, what would have happened if you didn't have kids? Who were you before until you had kids? Like, think about that. You're saying your purpose was not in you until you had kids. I was like, no, there's more to this story. There's more that's in you. And so I look at it as the overarching theme in your life, because that speaks to all of who you are and what you'll do. So that's my definition of purpose, and kind of what I would do to help somebody to uncover it.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for breaking that down, because sometimes I like how you said that you can also use people around you, people who will tell you the truth, because sometimes it's hard to figure it out on your own, even if you think of what excites me, or, because that's a variable. It could be day to day, and even just just even like just changes in your life, like having kids too. And so I like that you have like a full spectrum of things that you look at to help somebody discover their purpose, which, I think for me, it's always something that I have to ask myself, because it's always, something that's evolving and changing for me. But,
that's why, to add to that, what you just said, that's why I say there's layers to your purpose, because you just said it. Your purpose is always evolving, because you're uncovering another layer, a level of it that you're supposed to grow to and go to. So sorry to interrupt, but I had to give that caveat.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, because sometimes, people have the pressure like it's one and done. Like, yep, here's my purpose. Here it is. It's all done. Yeah, so I love that you said that, because it reminds us to be a little bit nicer to ourselves. And then on the business side, you're dealing with organizations, and you're dealing with multiple people who have multiple agendas. So what does that really look like on the business side, especially because entrepreneurs are, main audience, the target audience for this podcast. It's really, what do you say as an organization is your mission, and how do you get to that?
So just to clarify, what do I speak to just entrepreneurs and business owners on and
Yeah,
how
like.
to get their businesses,
Mhm,
figure their purpose and all of that?
mhm,
Well, one, I definitely always understand that there's multiple people that are sometimes make up a business organization. If you're a solopreneur, then I only have to talk to you. But if not, I honestly, that's why I say I go to the owner, the CEO,
mhm,
the founder, because, or if you have a board, your board, like if it's a board, you guys have to be in agreement or a majority
mhm,
or something, and then we can translate it. But even with that, that's kind of the issue. If everybody that has a has the thought that they should have a say so and be in charge, then that's where we got to either bring
mhm,
some synergy and some oneness and have some of
mhm,
those conversations first, because everybody can't have their own agenda or their own way.
mhm,
I mean, so we may have to have a little class session, to
mhm.
just kind of work through that and kind of
Yeah.
deal with some of those issues, because only one, technically, founder, president, CEO, owner, that's who should be driving the mission and vision and the
Mhm,
purpose of the organization, because they're the ones who created it. They're the ones who started it.
mhm,
And so definitely the feedback is always wanted, because it's the same thing that I said with you as a person, as a friend, but you have to weigh it against what, as founder, as president, as owner, as CEO, you have to weigh it against what was it that made you start this company?
got
What
it.
was it that you knew or wanted to do and help? What was the overarching thing of what you wanted to accomplish? Can it
Mhm,
evolve? Can layers of it be produced? Absolutely. But whatever the feedback is, it needs to tie into that. And if it and it needs to be another layer that's helping be evolved and exposed. But it should not be something that's all left over here or over there, right?
yeah,
Like it should not
yeah,
be all over the place. It should make sense.
mhm,
Like, and I tell people the example of, honestly, just think about it. People, say for instance, you have a podcast, but you also have other things, other platforms that you
mhm,
do, but it all speaks to the overarching purpose of who you are. And so your purpose is just being produced in different avenues, but it does not look strange, because it all still flows with what your
mhm,
overarching purpose is and your assignment. And so it's the same thing with a business. Like, there may be new services or new product lines or new just adjustments how you do business, but it needs to flow with the overarching purpose of why you guys are here and what you're supposed to do and what benefit or service you're supposed to provide to your clients and your customers.
yeah. Totally. And yeah, that completely makes sense too. It's just like, why did you start the business in the first
Mhm.
place? It's a very good question as well. And so, I see it just like working with person, working with
Mhm.
individuals, but, what I'm trying to say, like, your individual clients too, because same principles can be applied to business. And I
Yes.
wanted to ask you for your coaching, do you do it mostly in person or mostly online, virtually?
Um, I do it mostly online, virtually.
Mm-hmm.
I started it out that way because um yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably, and I just learned this when I had my prior business 15 years ago, that technology was not as great as it is now. Of course
Mm-hmm.
not. But I was not able to keep my business when I moved to Virginia, because it was difficult to keep the business going when all my clients were in Texas. Well, when I started this business, I remembered all of that. And so I came with a virtual platform already in mind from learning what I had did before. And so
Mm-hmm.
most of the times I do meet my clients virtually and coach with them virtually, unless for like I have a 1 day all day package, but
Mm-hmm.
even still that could be virtually. But it's most of the time, unless it's like a dire need and a desire, I'll meet with you in person. So I did have a client here locally that wanted to meet in person. And the
Mm-hmm.
crazy part was it was when I had broke my foot.
Oh.
So I was like really hoping to keep these meetings virtual and be
Mhm.
alone. And I was like, oh God, okay. All right.
Mhm.
The customer's always right. Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, funny how that happens. And what platform do you use for your coaching?
There is so many out there that
Mhm.
I literally learned about since
Mhm.
COVID. Like I feel like I'm like a nerd with it. Like I feel like I gotta find all of them, because I'm like I find out more and more every day. Then I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what is that? Like, so I have a Zoom account and then I have a StreamYard, but I actually like StreamYard better than Zoom. And
Mm-hmm.
then if necessary, we can do Skype. Then it's just so many out there. And then I just did one. I was in a conference yesterday and I was a keynote speaker, and they used Webinar Jam. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, like it's so much out here. Like I feel like I want to try them all out, do a test run and see how
Mm-hmm.
they all work. But I do know StreamYard is pretty easy, but I definitely think I want to check out Webinar Jam too.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. There are so many tools out there because I think everybody knows Zoom now, just because of
Yeah.
the whole COVID situation. Everybody's like, "Oh, Zoom, Zoom, Zoom," because people are meeting and stuff. But yeah,
Hmm.
Webinar Jam is great. I've used a couple of webinar software as well,
Okay.
and what's great about webinars is that it's more of a broadcast, so people can't you know unmute themselves, and you don't hear like
Hmm.
people screaming in the background or kids crying and microwaves and stuff like that. So yeah, I really love webinar platforms for that. There's, like you said, there's just so many. And yeah,
Yeah.
I think you can try them all. It's just like how many hours in your day do you want to be trying them? Because you'll be there all day. But I
I
think it's,
know.
I think it's fantastic that, when you move online, you can see like the power of all this stuff, and you can deliver a
Absolutely.
keynote from your home. So that
Hmm.
is amazing too, because now we can have the same types of conferences virtually.
Yes, I think that's
Yeah.
been great for people to understand or see that,
Mhm.
you can make the same, if not more of an impact when you go virtual, because some people, they may not, even with all that's going on, they may not feel comfortable going outside of their home. And so
Mhm.
giving that option or even doing it that way, I feel like you're able to reach more people. Like,
Mhm.
even if it's not through any of those, but it's just through a social media platform and you go live, like it's just so crazy how just this change that was expected to be the worst has brought about so many opportunities for people that had not used technology to embrace it as part of their business and the
Yeah.
organization.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. Because I was speaking to somebody the other day, and she's like, "Well, with virtual conferences, you don't have to worry about flights and hotels, and
Hmm.
even though I miss a lot of that stuff, to be honest, I do kind of miss the whole experience. But
Hmm.
to get the information is just great. That I just have to sit and log in. So
Hmm.
that's pretty cool too. And
Yeah.
yeah, you touched on lives, and that's another another avenue that's
Hmm.
people can just do like ASAP. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So I know I was on your website, and you've done so much in your career and your business. But how did you get started with the business that you're currently in?
um about 5 years before I started the business, I was in a pretty rough time in my life and I had a lot of things going on. And in the process, I started to go to therapy to address some of those things. I'm a proponent of therapy. Definitely go check it out if that's something you need, especially if your 2020 has not been what you thought
Mm-hmm.
it was going to be and you're like trying to get unstuck. Hey, go get some help. Don't stay stuck and stay stuck for the rest of the year. Get unstuck so you can go
Mm-hmm.
back and do purpose. But in the process of that, I started back journaling and writing Talk with Tanya blog posts because I had stopped for a little while. And so as I started to do that, I also started like taking notes and I was saying to myself, hey, I don't want anybody else to ever feel like this. I don't want anybody else to feel stuck. I don't want anybody to not know how to get out of their head and jump back into life. And I was like, oh yeah, and I want, for people that see, care, love people that are going through a traumatic um, situation or even a mental illness situation to know how to talk to them and be there for them. So I was just writing this all down,
Mm-hmm.
Kimberly, and then like 5 years later, I just get this unction and notion that I'm supposed to produce it and publish it, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I'm supposed to do what? Like I'm having a whole conversation. Like I'm supposed to do what? And
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to publish it. So I started getting it ready and editing it and everything. And then I also was felt like, I heard this word just say, oh, in a journal too. So I started writing a journal as well. And so as I was preparing for My Matters, the project, and me becoming officially a published author, I was like, well, hey, if I'm going to set up a business to make sure I have that all set up, why not set up everything and bet on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Even literally public speaking since like you were 3 or 4, you've been encouraging, motivating, inspiring, mentoring, and just doing and being what you can for young adults, teens, youth, and women, and even men for over 18 years, probably if not longer. So why not take all of who you are and bring it to the table? You've been doing project management in some form or fashion, and strategy, and issue resolution for some time. Why not bring all of who you are to the table? And
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I ended up doing as I was preparing to publish Mind Matters, that my first project. I also was going through some classes to also get life coaching credentials, because sometimes people need to see those letters. So
Mm-hmm.
I did that as well. And then I also was finishing up on one of my project management certifications that I wanted to do. And then, just kept writing for Talk with Tanya as well, and the rest is history. Like I said, I just decided, why not bet on me?
Mm-hmm.
Why not put all of who I am out there and see, if anybody catches the purpose and the vision behind it and wants to lock up or get together, as a customer, client, or collaborator, and community connection. So yeah, that's what I just was like. Can you bet on you?
Yeah.
Pull all of who you are and what you've done
Mm-hmm.
and bring it to the table.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and I think that I speak to so many people, and what I'm finding is like a recurring theme of people creating the business that they needed
Hmm.
at a particular time, and even some even for me as well. And I love that you said bet on you,
Hmm.
because a lot of people aren't really doing that, and I think that a lot of people hold back, like, oh, well, I can't really monetize what I've been doing, or I really can't. I don't have a skill I can monetize, but they don't realize they've been just working for free, or
Yeah.
they've been doing the same business for their jobs that they
Yeah.
could be doing for, for themselves. So
Hmm.
I really like what you said about, your journey through journaling, and then just finding that passion to just put it forth and put it forward. Thanks for sharing
Hmm.
that.
Absolutely.
Hmm. So, what are some of the things that you've done that made you successful in the past?
I don't know. I mean, successful. I mean, I feel like that changes every day. Honestly,
Hmm.
when you reach something, then you go higher.
Yeah.
But I guess I would definitely say, um, you know, it's like when I published the first one, I knew that I could do anything and I could publish
Hmm.
more. Sometimes it's those first that once you get over that hurdle, you like, oh, okay, that wasn't that bad. And you can be willing and have enough courage to go after and do the rest. And so, I would just say definitely publishing that first project, since it would have been a part of who I was for so
Hmm.
long, getting that out there and, just being one to uh, just go after it, and from going
Hmm.
after it then, it hasn't stopped me from going after anything thereafter.
Nice. Yeah. So just the whole. Excuse me. It's just a matter about just getting started too. Just
Yes,
just
yes.
just doing it. Just doing the thing.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. A
Hmm.
lot of times people get stuck in that, like, oh, what are they going to think? What are they going to say? Is anybody going to buy it? Is anybody going to read it? Like, oh
Hmm.
my gosh, when I hit this button, I'm live now. And it's like, okay, you
Hmm.
will only know what will happen if you do something. If you never do
Hmm.
anything, you will actually know what will happen. It will all be speculation that you literally try to play through your mind every incident. And
Hmm.
it's like, no, just go down and try it and do what needs to be done.
Yeah, and I say, I always think, like, what's the worst that can happen? Well, if nobody reads it, nobody watches it, nobody buys it, you're still in the same place. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, which is probably not going to happen. By the way, if anyone's listening, just do it. But
Yeah.
that's the worst case scenario. Then
No,
you
no,
just
no,
try something else. Uh
definitely.
huh.
My
Yes.
my mom would always say nothing beats a failure but a try. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you can't you can't win if you never try. And so if you
Mm-hmm.
never try, then you've already lost. It's a
Yeah.
50-50 shot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, keep trying. If it doesn't happen the first time, keep trying.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to pivot a little bit and talk about the Mind Matters project and talk about like
Mm-hmm.
what you have going on there and just some of the information that you would like our readers to know about that.
Yeah, so that project is, just reminding everyone that, you don't have to go it alone, for one.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to feel shame or have any guilt for, taking care of yourself, especially your mind. As we're recording this, we're in June, but
Mm-hmm.
last month was Mental Health Awareness Month. And, one of the things I said to people when I was doing my videos, I said that, the reason we have a whole month is to bring awareness and to bring understanding and mutual respect and trust and courage, because the only way we fight the stigma is if we fight the stigma. And
Mm-hmm.
so many are still afraid to go get help. So many are afraid to say I can't do this. So many are afraid to uh, you know get what they need out of fear of what somebody else would think of them after. And so Mind Matters kind of just talks to you about that in the sense of, you know, yeah, you've gone through this, but what do you do to get out of this?
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna are you gonna deal so you can heal? Or are you gonna stay stuck? And so it talks to you about tools and tips and resources about getting unstuck and getting out of your head,
Mm-hmm.
because most of the times that's what happens. You get in your own head, you start thinking all these negative thoughts, you start thinking everything that's gonna go wrong is wrong,
Yeah.
and you start to spiral. And so I just want to help you to, number one, know that you're stronger than, and then number two, just know that it starts with your thinking. And if you can get that under control and you can handle that better, you can start to think better about yourself, about your opportunities, and about your life. And so it's just literally breaking down just the way you can think negatively, the way you can, see it wrong, the way
Mm-hmm.
you can just literally um have stinking thinking, and just the impact that it makes, and how it's best for you to pivot that, provide a better outlet or solution or, reaction so that you'll be better. And so it's a book and it's a prayer journal. I mean, sorry, it's a book and a journal. And the journal, actually, I say to people, it asks you those hard questions that nobody wants to ask because they're afraid. What are you going to say? But I'm not
Mm-hmm.
afraid.
Yeah.
I want to ask you those hard questions because I
Mm-hmm.
want you to really do the work so that you can get better and you can get whole. And like I said, it's a supplement tool, but it's something out there if you aren't willing and ready to go through into actual therapy yet. But I'm a big proponent of therapy. So if you get the book and the journal and that, hey, you're winning. So
Yeah.
I mean, you get the book and the journal and
Mm-hmm.
counseling, you're winning.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll definitely link to that in the notes as well, so you can go pick that up.
Okay.
But I think that therapy is so important, and I love that the
Hmm.
stigmas are now being broken down. Like,
Yeah.
okay, it's fine, and now we have e-therapy, which I
Yes.
currently use, and I think it's amazing. I don't have to
Hmm.
leave my house. I don't have to drive
Hmm.
anywhere. It's just phenomenal. So just even before COVID, but now, especially during COVID, I can see
It's
that really
they
blown
made
up.
it more
Hmm.
readily available. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely. And then to know also that there's a lot unaware of the free resources. Like some communities and churches have free resources for you know groups like around divorce care,
Hmm.
marriages, chronic illnesses, and fighting those, um, addictions. Gosh, there's a lot. And so a lot of those are free and you can build connection and community. But then there's online resources as well, like intherooms.com, where it's just straight 24/7 support groups of every caliber that you can hop in and hop out for,
Hmm.
and, you know, and get what you need. If you need to do AA, oh, it's online virtually in this place. And then also, if you're working, a lot of people don't even realize that they have employer assistance program, which is EAP,
Hmm.
which that's where it gives them, like, normally it's been like 3 to 7 free therapy sessions, but now because, like we said, of COVID, you can
Hmm.
get anywhere from like 7 to 15 that are absolutely free, no deductible. It's not
Hmm.
tied at all to your health insurance. It's separate, and this
Yeah.
is separate and does not cost you a thing. So yeah, I'm glad that the stigma is being broken, and I'm glad that, people may not know where to go, but there's resources out there to point them as long as they're willing and ready and able.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure too. I forget about EAP, but yeah, that is another important resources people don't really know about. And
Mm.
they don't tell your manager. They don't. It's confidential.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. And yeah, so I think that is super important to just have knowledge of that and spread knowledge of like what's out there. And kind of going back to your business too, I know that you have the Mind Matters, and you do like the coaching both in the both for individuals and organizations. And you said that that's something that you started about 5 years ago. But what was something that you wish that you would have known when you started out?
Um, it's not that I wish I would have known. I think I just wish I would have started before, because I was doing it, but just kind of just, being one to build community and collaboration and connection. I definitely was trying. I think I was doing it more in my local area, but not realizing that, hey, if I'm not bound to do any services locally, why should I keep my network building and connections and collaboration opportunities just local? And so I definitely wish I would have started in that frame of mind sooner, because just these relationships that are coming out of the opportunities of collaboration are amazing.
Yeah.
So, connections are key, collaborations are great, and community is even better. So when you can do all of those and not be tied to a zip code or a city or state, it's amazing. So I wish
Yeah.
I would have started doing that earlier.
Yeah, for sure too. And now that everything's online, it's a lot easier to do that. But sometimes, especially for people who are a little less outgoing, a little more introverted, a little bit more reserved, it can be kind of intimidating. But I think that really just being online kind of puts us all in the same playing field, and have one to one or one to many. So I love that people can start thinking about that. And, before we wrap up, I just want to ask, where can we find you online?
Yeah, so I am on social media. That's YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter under Talking with Tanya.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you'll find me every day, providing motivation, inspiration, and encouragement for wherever you are at. I'm on my website, TanyaJMiller.com. You'll find information on coaching, speaking, strategy sessions, as well as direct links to my school, which has online classes on life and leadership, some of which are even free.
Mm-hmm.
That's at school.TanyaJMiller.com. You also have a direct link to my store, which is shop.TanyaJMiller.com. And that's where you'll get all the books. There's 6 out there, books and journals. Then you can also get what I call message merch. I'm actually wearing one today. It says, get out of your head. No, yes, it says, get out of your head and
Mm-hmm.
jump back into life. And so that's one that's out there. And, I message merch for me is merch with a purpose. So
Mm-hmm.
I all of the meanings, all of the sayings, different things on all the message items and message merch we have, it all has a purpose to it, and it speaks to that. And so lots of things there, message apparel, buttons, stickers, flashcards, just lots of great positive, purpose-filled messages, which is why it's called message merch. And then you also have the direct link to Amazon, where it has the books in print, digital, audio, and then the journals in print. And then if you just want to connect with me and learn more and stay connected, but also, hey, get 20% off of your first order at shop.tanjamiller.com, you can connect with me at bit.ly, all caps, join fam.
Nice. And I'm going to link to it all in the show notes. So if you didn't catch all of that, just look in the description. I'm going to link to that. So thank you for that generous offer for 20% promo code. And as of this recording, it is valid as of June 1st. And you can go and take advantage of that. And also, just a few questions that I ask everybody on the podcast about their favorite resources. So, do you have a favorite business or personal development book that you recommend? And it could be one of your books too.
I would definitely say it's just about mindset. Well, yeah, yeah. So it's called The Principles and Power of Vision, I want to
Mhm.
say. It's by Dr. Miles Monroe.
Nice. And do you have a favorite technical resource that you use in your business? I know we talked a little bit about tech before, but
Yeah, I would say, I mean, as a lot of them say on Instagram, Canva is bae. So,
Mhm.
Canva is the bomb. But also just a few other tools and apps that I've kind of come into. I probably not going to say their names right, but just ones that have been able to, like, I mean, regrowing is cool, but I've also found one where, like, for some reason, I don't know if you guys have this problem, but sometimes when you do a live, either on Facebook or Instagram,
Mhm.
it doesn't. It does. Facebook is better, but Instagram it doesn't save. And so I found this particular app where I can save. I can go and actually get my Instagram
Mhm.
live and download it
Yeah.
and be able to use it for other places. So yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but
Yeah.
it's a couple of, I guess, a lot of different tools. And then I also have one that I like. I've been using it for a few years now, called KindMaster. Basically, it's a video editor for a novelist, not the
Mhm.
pros, but for a novelist. It
Yeah.
works itself out.
Yeah, and I can definitely co-sign on Canva. Even though I do design, I have Photoshop. I definitely love Canva too, just for things that are quick. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm gonna search around for that tool to download from Instagram Live too. Because yeah,
Mm-hmm.
my first one, I did this incredible live and just couldn't figure out how to download
Save
it.
it.
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
definitely I am going to try to find that and link to that as well. Okay, so I am so happy to have met you, and I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, sharing what you do, and sharing your journey. I think it'll help so many other people who want to get into the coaching business as well as people who need coaching as well, because there
Yeah.
shouldn't be any stigma about getting help or
Yep.
seeking advice, mental help, professional help, anything that you need, even business help as well. So
Yep.
thank you for sharing, and thank you for everything that you've done.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. I definitely have enjoyed the
Mm.
opportunity to connect with you. And I want everybody to make sure you guys subscribe to her, like her, give her ratings, follow her all on social media and reviews, because for what she's doing, she needs definitely input and followers and support, because she has, information from a digital thought perspective that she's going to share and bring others to share. So the more you guys support, the more she can go further in her purpose and her vision.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Yep. So, thanks everyone for listening. So, like Tanya said, if you like this episode and you want to hear more episodes, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you can listen to a podcast. I am there. And be sure to listen to other episodes of the Digital Thought Leader
Definitely.
podcast.
Absolutely.
And new episodes come out every 2 weeks, so definitely follow and share. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Hi. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Also, ring the bell so that you get notified every time we release a new video. See you next time. Bye.